5. We're pressing right along. Our Apple Barrel for July. And the first article in the Apple Barrel is about the Arts and Crafts program that has been furnished by Helen Lucero. This was her May contribution, and she'll be doing another one probably in this month. But it reads, potatoes and carrots, lots of paint colors, and various kinds of paper in different colors presented the arts and crafts students with many choices. Once color, paper, and design decisions were made, the 13 Manzano residents who participated in the May 21st printmaking class became quite absorbed in the cutting and printing process. Pictured here are 3 students, including Ron, who was very absorbed in painting a potato before cutting, while Lois and Rebecca were busy printing. The second photo shows examples of the finished prints, and they're very complex, the ones that are featured here. And also, I might add that Ron has won lots of awards for his wood crafting. And so he was absorbed in a new kind of craft for him. And the other article on the front page was written by Crystal Lopez, who is our wellness director. And she wrote about senior sports. Our first senior sports day was a hit with chair volleyball. We had lots of laughs and fun. July senior sports will be cornhole outside in the garden, July 3rd at 1 p.m. So that's already gone by. After the patriotic festivities. Chair volleyball will be Tuesday, July 22nd at 2 o'clock p.m. in the wellness classroom. We will add chair volleyball on a weekly basis in August every Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. in the wellness classroom. Come by and join in on the fun. Senior sports is open to all residents.
For the uninitiated, what is cornhole? Page is an article written by Christine Supps, the activities director, and it's July activities to plan for. Finally, bingo will be every Wednesday at 1 p.m. in the chapel. Thursday the 3rd and our 4th of July barbecue, oh, this is over, I guess, then at 2 p.m. in the chapel. Carrie Sutter will be performing a song and dance routine entitled Happy Birthday to America. And at 1 p.m., we'll have our second senior sports in the wellness classroom. Remember, this is free to all residents. I hope you will join us. Monday the 8th at 1 p.m., again past, Arts and Crafts in the Chapel rock painting. I know we had this planned for June, but we had summer door decorations instead, which was fabulous. Monday the 14th at 10 a.m., plan to head to the Wheels Museum and lunch at Padilla's Mexican Kitchen, cash only. The museum is free. Friday the 18th at 2 p.m. in the garden, we will have root beer float happy hour. Since our last one was such a great hit, and the hot summer day seems to call for another. Friday the 25th at 10:30 a.m., we have teamed up with the Wellness Center to head out to Madrid for lunch and shopping. Sign up in the activities notebook or the Wellness Center. And on Monday the 28th at 2 p.m., we have our July birthday party. It will be cupcakes for cake. Remember, everyone is invited to celebrate. And finally, we will end our month with a Thursday movie at 2 p.m. in the chapel. For all the music programs scheduled, please check out the calendar of events. This poem is about a Roman, a citizen of an empire that lasted for centuries. It was arguably the most powerful empire the world had ever seen. It left a lasting impression on the world for centuries to come, in both feats of engineering and in the language spoken, Latin. However, it may have been one of the most decadent and corrupt empires ever to exist. This is a tongue-in-cheek poem about a typical Roman citizen. And this is what I submitted. If you had Latin in high school, you will enjoy this only slightly more than if not. I have added some notes to help the understanding, but mostly it's a play on words. Oh, the Roman was a rogue. He a rat was, you bet him. Well, the rat is a conjugated form of the verb to be, and it means he was. So in this play of words, he was a rat. He ran his automobilus and smoked his cigarettum. He wore a diamond studibus, probably a stick pin for his tie, and an elegant cravatum, a tie, a maximum cum laude shirt, a very loud shirt, and such a stylish hatum. Maximum cum laude is a phrase often used when awarding a college degree, and it means with great honors. But in this play on words, laude sounds like loud, hence a very loud shirt. He loved the luscious hick, hack, hawk, which probably means this and that, and bet on games and equi, horses. He bet on the horses. At times he won, at others, though, he got it in the necky. He winked quo usque contendum, which means at length or continuously, at puellas on the forum. He winked at girls in the marketplace. At times he even made those gugu oculorum, gugu eyes, looking at the girls in the forum. He frequently was seen at combats gladiatorial and ate enough to feed 10 boarders at memorial. He often went on a spree, drinking, and he said on starting homeward, hic labor est. This is a labor. Oh, where is my hic domus, my home? Although he lived in Rome, of all the arts the middle, he was, excuse the phrase, a horrid individual. Oh, what a different thing was the homo, which means man, dative hominy, of far away BC from us in Anno Domini. And a little note here, Latin, in addition to conjugating verbs like I walk, you walk, he walks, does the same thing to nouns depending upon how they're used in a sentence. Noun might be a subject, might be the object of the sentence, and there are like 6 different parts of speech. Dative is one of the cases in declining a noun, though I don't doubt that the dative case of hominy is hominy. Another little play on words.
Friend Charles has an entry. The amazing story of Charles Nemeth. Well, this actually isn't yours, Chuck. This is Mary writing about you, and this was written by Maren Gruby. She says she's reminding us that Charles was the author of True Love Story of Sparky the dog, who waited and waited for Jimmy to return. You might remember that from last month's publication. Amazing number 1 is that Chuck began writing at the age of 90 after having become blind from macular degeneration. Macular degeneration causes deterioration of the rods in the center of the eye, which control focus and the ability to see what is in front of you and see detail. His articles can be read in the Apple Barrel, among other venues. How is this logistically possible? He has various machines as a result of his VA heritage, which he enrolled in 2013, and which employ sophisticated devices which speak written material to him so that he can, quote, read, assist him to type what he is writing, and so forth. He says the machines allow him to do what he wanted to do: live on his own, cook Hungarian, etc. Enrolling in the VA, including their outstanding vision program, has changed his life. Through this, he attends workshops on how to function in daily life. He learns about how to do all that is possible as a blind person, to see in place of how we see, to learn about health and exercise, etc. The VA provides an assistant part-time to help with laundry, making brownies, house cleaning, cooking, etc., upon which he can heat up food for meals. Through the VA, he met his good friend here at Manzano, who is also blind from macular degeneration, and together they board and travel on city buses to buy groceries, etc. And I might give you a little hint. His very good friend lives on our floor, and his name is John Woodcock. Through the VA, we read that, he has figured out how to cross Lomas without help, partly from what he's learned at the VA workshops on how to live. One thing that has been difficult for him has been affording a divorce in the past year, which in the long run has been of benefit because it has changed his life for the better to be here and living on his own. Now all he's trying to do is be happy. He refuses to get angry or upset with people. Writing helps a lot in this regard, as you may divine from his writings. And again, that was Mary Gruby's article about Charles.
I'm very thankful for it. I don't know why she decided to do that, but she did.
And the next article is written by Betty Logan, and Betty leads the grief group, and she's writing about that. Everybody grieves because we're human. We hurt. Because we're human, we have tears to cry. Because we're human, our hearts are broken. Because we're human, we understand that grief is a universal language. It isn't something to run from. It can be a time of transformation, a journey. Grief is our common bond. Opening to sorrow connects us with everyone, everywhere. So join with others on Tuesday afternoons in the library from 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. to share our journeys. Again, that's led by and written by Betty Logan. Mary Gruby has written the next little contribution, and it's called Tribute. The golden years, quote, here at Manzano by Pure Health have been polished and honed to a satin finish by the incomparably kind agents of higher level caring who work here. Words cannot put into words, I don't understand that, the extent of my appreciation and valuing of their patience, kindness, acceptance of my foibles, generosity of spirit, and efficacy. Thanks from my heart to those who work here, who've been so helpful to me and giving of their time. Very best wishes to you for your lives and well-being. And I think we could all say ditto our feelings about the workers here.
We have something that is written by Tom Samuel and Donna Stoner, and it is entitled International Group. On the 13th of May, Donna Stoner gave a presentation on Botswana and her Peace Corps experience there. Botswana is a landlocked country in southern Africa. The Tropic of Capricorn goes right through the center of the country. It's hot and dry. There's a rainy season which follows a short, bitter winter. The land is flat with few rolling hills, and there are no mountains. The Limpopo River forms the eastern border with South Africa. It is described by Kipling as the great gray-green, greasy Limpopo. When Donna saw this river, it was exactly that. Her Peace Corps group was there in the late 1980s. They watched Nelson Mandela walk out of prison. When Mandela walked out of prison, life in South Africa changed forever. The Botswana ethnic group, the Tswana people, live on the east side of Botswana. On the west live the Basawara people. These are very primitive hunter-gatherers who have lived there for eons and have learned how to adapt to the harsh environment. In northwest part of the country is the Okavango Delta. It is formed when rivers in Angola flow south when in flood and empty themselves into the Kalahari Desert, thus forming a swath of green primal land, a sanctuary for African animals. It is protected. Sirau is a village in the eastern part of Botswana. Sekritsi Kahama was born there. He went to England to study law. While there, he met and married a British woman. An Inconvenient Marriage is the title of an interesting book about this mixed marriage. Sekritsi Kahama was instrumental in separating Botswana from Britain. He was elected the first president of the new country. Later, the Queen of England knighted him. The British left behind systems allowing the new country to stabilize the government. The education system, the banks, postal service, and language are all English. There were 47 people in Donna's Peace Corps group, mostly teachers and mostly young. Donna was assigned to a junior secondary school in Malahapye, a town on the eastern side of the country. The British had left curricula for all classes in all schools. She taught drawing, painting, design, advertising, and craft. She lived in a house, a modern duplex, which had running water but no electricity. Most of the population lived in round mud huts with conical thatched roofs called rondavels. These are perfect buildings but require a lot of maintenance. 2 years of teaching came to an end, but Donna was not done with Africa. She signed on to a third year and became the director of the Botswana Museum of Art. The museum, located in the capital, Gaborone, was donated to the country by Swedes. 3 long, slender windows at one end allowed natural light to come into the large exhibition room. Donna left this perfect job at the end of the year and returned home the long way. Alexander McCall Smith's books put Botswana on the map. He said his books are written as love letters to the people of Botswana, and so they are. Donna wishes to invite those interested to come to apartment 326 to view and learn about some items she brought back from Africa. Call her to arrange a time. And I say again, this was written by Tom Samuel and Donna Stoner.
On page 5, here is Charles Namath with his article on maturity. When I was young, I thought that I could conquer anything I chose to try. There were no limits. I set my sight on anything. No doubt it would come out right. Paid no heed to those who would advise. This was me, and I would, no doubt, rise to the pinnacle of any chosen behavior, endeavor. What? Me fail? You must be nuts. Never. These fantasies I fed for years and gave no lurking fears. If criticized, my thoughts, you're jealous of my zeal. You wished you were as zealous. Advancements came, I was passed by. My ego refused to listen to my cry. Life isn't fair. I think I've been cheated. Well, heck with them, I won't be defeated. I sought new worlds and things soon repeated. What's wrong? Why am I being so sorely treated? I sought to learn, but no answers, no progress. I was facing despair. Would I never see success? Then, one day, I tuned my radio. A man was speaking. I heard his subject to be, "What are you seeking?" I listened as I drove, and slowly he began to make sense. He spoke on high words like cloth cleaning a lens. You cannot hope to conquer until you first conquer yourself, unquote. So simple a concept there was in all these past years. Why could I not see this before all the anguish and tears? At first, so slow, the mystery was pursued, and with purpose. Friends were candid. It hurt. And soon light began to cover the surface. I spent many a day and many a night before accepting what I knew was to be right. My perceived faults were hung and beaten as a rug. Inner thoughts now brought to light, but many with a tug. It took some time, not a rinse of shirt in the river, but with a scrubbing, a cleansing, to set your senses aquiver. I am what I am. I accept my pluses with thanks for them. My faults I now accept, while I work to do the best with them. The job is done at last, it will never be so. But now I see, now I believe, now I agree. I am a better being than I have ever been before, and I can live with serenity, hope, and love. The end. Charlie Namath.
We have the July ministry schedule, and no surprise, out of 4 Sundays, there is only one where anyone is listed, and that was July the 13th. The others are to be announced, and to be announced has turned out to be just that, to be announced. Of course, the Wednesday night services are all staffed at 6:30 p.m. And Catholic services are first and third Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning with the celebrant Father John Paul Olachi Hafuchita. I apologize. Every second and fourth Monday at 10 a.m. meeting is to say a group rosary. The other article on this page is entitled Prayers, Flowers, and Angels, and it's written by Nancy Burns. In comparing stories with friends, it seems that many of us have experienced the same phenomenon. The circumstances vary, but the bottom line is that when we are in difficult situations, quite often an unknown person or an angel comes to our rescue. In my own experiences, there have been times when I have become lost, have fallen, or somehow become injured. My protective angel always appears. In my most recent situation, in which I needed help, the angels were magically 5 firefighters. My husband, Don, and I were shopping at a large supermarket. I had been recently discharged from the hospital and did not have my strength built up yet. Don and I were waiting for a ride when I just suddenly collapsed, and Don needed help. The store employee told Don that there were 5 fighters checking out very close to us, and one of them happened to be an EMT. Don got their attention. Immediately my 5 angels went to work, ran tests, and eventually transported me to the hospital. After returning home, I received flowers from unknown angels. While moving about the building, strangers would say to Don that they were praying for my recovery. So you see, angels really do exist. By Nancy Burns.
And I think you skipped the July birthdays, and we didn't get to Norm Rebel was the whole nation celebrates Norm's birthday because he was born on the 4th of July.
Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Yankee Doodle Dandy.
Remember that, huh?
And then John Woodcock's is coming up on the 27th. So what's your favorite kind of cake, John? We'll have to see that arrives somewhere good to
He
share.
likes brownies.
Brownies, he likes brownies. Oh, good, and you're learning to make brownies, Chuck.
Yep.
Wow. Glad that we've discovered that page. And there's a little article that Pearl has submitted on that page also about nutrients that combat disease. One of the first confirmations of food as medicine came in the 1700s with the observation that sailors who ate, and I bet all of you know the answer to this, citrus fruit, were able to avoid having scurvy. That connection led to the discovery of vitamin C. Scurvy is caused by a vitamin C deficiency. Some 200 years later, ushering in an era of discovery about connections between nutrients and diseases. So be sure you get plenty of vitamin C.
And as a
when you're
footnote
coming down with a cold, you really can't take. Our friend who was a cardiologist said take up to about 5,000 or 6,000 milligrams because you need a lot of vitamin C when you're getting sick. So,
And as a footnote to that, I'm sure you've heard at one time or another British sailors called limeys. Mm-hmm. That's what this is.
and that's where it came
That's
from.
where it came from. Memoir story, July 16th, 1945, and it's written by Judy Liddell. When the first atomic bomb was exploded on July 16, 1945, at 5:45 a.m. Mountain Standard Time in the New Mexico desert, on land that is now the White Sands Missile Range, I had just turned 3 and was asleep in our Santa Monica, California home. 2015 marks the 70th anniversary of this date that changed the course of the course of history. According to an Associated Press article written on July 16, 2015, when a flash of light beamed from the arid New Mexico desert early on July 16, 1945, residents of the historic Hispanic village of Tularosa felt windows shake and heard dishes fall. The end of the world is here, they thought. It would be another 3 weeks before the world would begin to know the significance of the desert event. My father, an engineer with the Civil Administration, Air Administration, was not allowed to join the armed forces before 1945, since his job was deemed essential to the national security. By January 26, 1945, the CAA's repair and construction of airports in the western part of the country came to a close, and he joined the Navy Seabees Naval Construction Force. He left for Camp Pendicott, Rhode Island for basic training on February 24. Fate intervened, and just prior to his battalion leaving for North Africa, he came down with pneumonia and was hospitalized. They left without him, and he was assigned to another battalion that was bound for the Pacific. They spent a month at the Naval Construction Battalion Center at Port Hueneme near Ventura, California, the West Coast home of the Navy Seabees, and he was able to visit at home overnight liberties, much to my delight. Among birthday gifts for my 3rd birthday was a telegram from Daddy. He must not have had overnight liberties at that time. I'm sure this was nothing unusual during the war. Because the Manhattan Project, responsible for the development of the atomic bomb, was still secret, even the Navy did not know what had happened on that morning, and my father's battalion continued their preparations to leave for Okinawa. I didn't visit the Trinity test site until 2019, even though I lived in New Mexico since 1994. I am grateful for my mother's detailed record keeping of events during my early years and my reactions to them in Your Child Year by Year, a development record and guide from birth to the 16th year, published by the Parents Magazine, and again written by Judy Liddell. And it inferred but not actually stated here, you've heard them called Seabees. CB stands for Construction Battalion. That's where Seabees came from. And finally, a minor item here from Perla. Currently, parking. We currently have available covered parking for anyone interested in having their vehicle parked under an assigned covered spot. It's a $30 monthly fee, and you can cancel any time. If you are interested, stop by the Resident Services office.
Oh, Vanessa is our dear clinical nurse, and she has mentioned something that is really pertinent to a lot of us. Have you had your walker serviced? Did you know that it's important to have your walker checked at least once a year? The manufacturer recommends periodic visual inspections of the walker to ensure that all parts and hardware are secure and that car components are in good working order and not worn or torn, frayed, or loose, and that there are no obstructions or impediments to normal safe operation. It's important to keep up with maintenance in order to prevent accidents from occurring, which can lead to serious injury. A&R, located across the street, will be happy to service your walker. And then she gives us the phone number and says if you have questions, they're always happy to help. And that was very good news because I didn't ever think that we had to have our walkers checked. And yet mine gets a little wobbly because they're folded and put into the trunk so much if we're transported a great deal. So I guess it's a very good reminder. To preserve these clues, Mary Ruby's giving us a clue about our clothing and how to take care of them. Keep them out of the dryer. And that pertains to your sneakers or tennis shoes, bras and lingerie, silk, lace, and delicates. I don't think you gentlemen are that concerned about that. Swimwear, reusable fabric bags, bath mats, and slippers. Bath mats have that rubber back on the back of them, and so that isn't a good idea to put them in the dryer. David Gonzalez is our garden, I love this, his title that he's given himself is Garden Ambassador. And he says, I'd like to thank all of the residents I've had conversations with over my time here on staff. Eugene, who's his assistant, and I appreciate the kind words. I especially would like to thank the person or persons who paid attention to specific plant varieties that I had mentioned in our conversation and anonymously donated 2 varieties of plants. I had mentioned that I wanted to plant in the container garden along the pond and the walkway 4 begonias and 2 sweet potato vines that were left under the cover, and they were left under the covered patio off the courtyard dining room by this unnamed person, allowing 2 containers to be completed. Thank you for all your appreciation, and Eugene and I hope you continue to enjoy the courtyard. And then here's Gay Advertising, something for sale. If you need printer cartridges for your printer, they're for sale, brand new in a box. Originally cost her $104 from Amazon, but she's selling them for $60. And it will only you fit an HP 910 HL. And she's got one black and one colored. And she says, I have a second set of HP printer cartridges for the same printer. They were installed on 6/16/24, never used. I'm asking $40 for those. So if you know anybody that needs ink, it's very, very expensive, and those are good deals. If you're interested, call Gay Huffman, and she gives her apartment and her phone number.
A new resident. This is submitted by Rebecca Roth. It says the 5th floor welcomes Nancy Weaver. Nancy moved in on June 1st of this year. She moved from a home in Albuquerque where she had lived for 65 years. Try that one on for size. Okay. This is a big house with a big garden in northwest Albuquerque near the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center. Her husband, Walter Hollis Weaver, planned this move for her as she is under the care of the VA and is bedridden and on oxygen. Their nephew, Jimmy Meister, now cares for him in their house, and he loves living there. Jimmy's mother is also Nancy's sister-in-law, Martha Meister, who lives on Manzano del Sol. I think she's just a couple of doors away from where my wife and I live. Nancy keeps in close touch with her husband with daily calls. Nancy loves flowers, gardening, reading, art, museums, traveling, news, and TV. Also tea and exercise machines. She brought 3 here, and hot tubs and the news. Nancy was a travel agent for 20 years and has been to 1/3 of the world on cruise ships, river cruises, and tours with clients. She has visited 90 countries, large and small. Nancy taught cooking classes for men at UNM. She was a nutritionist with a medical school diagnostic team. Plus, she is a master gardener. She hates cell phones but loves iPads. She has taught classes on the use of iPads. And the closing remark is, she is a Democrat. And this is submitted by Rebecca Roth. Finally, we have 2 other articles. One is Gift Shop News. Let freedom ring is an important statement. The freedom of choice is a major part of the gift shop. Choice of sugar-free candy, regular candy, choice of chips, choice of gluten-free snacks, ice cream, V8, energy drinks, soda, water, and so on and on. Might have not have been the idea behind Let Freedom Ring, but it works. We also carry a great selection of DVDs and books. We have a great selection of jewelry too. Hope to see you use your freedom to come to the store and shop. And this is, of course, written by Debbie Harrington, the manager of the gift shop. And closing out, we have happy spring into summer to everyone on our MDS campus, especially as we walk through and comfortably sit among the exquisite flowers and trees in our beautiful garden. Our community here at Manzano del Sol is extremely blessed. We have a fantastic team of gardeners, or garden ambassadors as they were earlier noted, who have used their talents to bring the beauty of nature to fill our eyes. Our thanks and smiles go out to one and all, David and Eugene, and this is written by Judith Binder.
Now, our Apple Barrel ends with announcement of the new classes which have been added to the schedule, and it says we've moved to a few classes as mentioned in the senior sports. We've also moved a wonderful activity that's open to all residents. Laughter yoga has been moved to Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. in the wellness classroom. Laughter yoga is a fun experience that will uplift your mood, increase your energy, relieve stress, and improve your overall well-being. We're adding a balance class to our schedule on Thursdays at 11. Balance class will focus on various exercises that improve your balance in a fun, safe way with various pieces of equipment. So be sure to get the new July schedule to see all the class times. And then, and that is going to be directed to by our Ruth, who has been here for a long, long time and is excellent, an excellent instructor. The wellness seminar is going to be covering the components of fitness in May, and they're going to be talking about nutrition in June. Both of those are. And now we'll go over the benefits of meditation and mastering your thoughts. Seems like they read your article, Chuck. This seminar can help you manage pain, uplift your mood, bring encouragement, and give you great insight into your thought life. My goodness. Our seminar on meditation will be on July 24th in the chapel at 3:30. And then there's going to be the wellness outing, the usual monthly, and that's the one that's going to Madrid, which is a quaint coal mining town north of Albuquerque. And it's just pronounced, Norm, you are a native New Mexican.
Yes.
And in New Mexico, we call it Madrid, right? Not Madrid, as they do in Spain. Yes, David, and David certainly knows. It's always been Madrid. We will spend a day in the small artist town visiting stores all within walking distance. We'll eat lunch at the famous mine shaft, and that outing will be on the 25th of July, almost the end of the month, at 10:30 in the morning. So sign up if you'd like to attend that. And that ends our apple barrel for the month.